Hello and welcome to the Melissa Cardinals Network. You are watching the Cardinal Scoreboard show broadcast from the Dugout Sports Grill at the Z-Plex. This is Trey Graham, joined by Melissa Cardinals head football coach Matt Nally. And I guess we got to start it again.
Right.
How's 11 in a row?
Winning is fun, yes, sir. It's
I have the same question, you have the same answer every time.
Yes, sir. It's awesome. The kids and the coach have done a great job.
11-2 overall. We'll talk more about the big win over La Vega and the game coming up in the next round. We'll talk about that in a few minutes. But something that I want the listeners and the viewers to learn about is something that you call character ed. Mm-hmm. Okay, I described it as how to be a man.
Right.
Okay,
right.
But you teach them football. You expect them to learn English and history and math, but you also want them to be a man. You want them to be a gentleman.
Right.
Learn how to compose themselves.
Right.
Before we even get to that, I want to say something on the air that I've told you off the air. Every one of your players who've come to do this show with us have shown themselves to be just genuine and talented and bright young men. They've shown themselves very, very well during these interviews.
Right. They're raised very well. Yes, sir. They're good people, and they're going to grow up to be great men.
But you want to be a part of that specifically.
Correct. We want to, help. We want to be a branch that helps out parents in raising their kids. So what we do, and I'll start within the off season. I'll go into the season what we do. So in the off season, we split all the kids up into teams, so small groups, and we assign every kid to a coach. So there's about 8 to 10 kids with a coach. And I think I talked about this one time.
You did.
And I read some books, and we did character ed based off of those books. And then on Thursday, we called it Life Lesson Thursday. And we would teach them what I believe to be like an important lesson that, I wish somebody would have taught me when I was a kid. And kind of like things that we take for granted now,
But it's an interesting list.
Right.
Share with the viewers.
So, we taught them how to tie a tie, which...
A necktie.
And to be honest with you, everything that we taught them how to do, that was probably the most comical. But you kind of were blown away that, 95% of them had no idea how to do it. But I remember being that age, I had no idea how to do it either. But we taught them how to tie a tie. We taught them how to change a tire, change oil, shake someone's hand. We taught them how to two-step, just things like that I think are something.
Study Hebrew?
It's on the list.
Okay, good.
But I just think it's something that, when we were kids, that people should have taken interest in. And I say that, when I first got into coaching, it was just about winning, and that's all I cared about. And then as I got through this thing, I started, thinking to myself, wow, I'm missing out on a big part of it, which is it's my job to help these kids grow up. And not just grow up, but grow up and be good people. And,
Is this the first year you've done it?
This last offseason was the first year I did that approach.
How was it received when it started by the players?
It was a little awkward at the beginning because, it was the first time we did it. But, man, it took off, and it was like a grass fire. It would just went nuts.
Now, I'm going to guess there's somebody amongst the players who's already pretty skilled at a certain thing.
Right.
And they become sort of the mentor of that topic.
That is correct. So, like tying a tie, Ryan Johnson was a tied sucker, man. He could just tie it up. But Nathan Adejokin, I don't know if he can tie a tie still. But all of it was kind of neat. Like Dylan Smith, when we were talking about tying or changing a tire, he got underneath there and he could point out stuff and whatnot. So that was pretty neat. But like the two-stepping thing was one thing too. Like Cord Cruz, he knew he could do it all. And then you had somebody who I thought would be amazing at it, which was Kel Brakebill. He was not.
He's better at football than dancing? Okay.
So, but just things like that I thought were interesting and thought were neat, and thought that, my son's now a part of the high school program. I'm like, and my kids need to learn this. And I remember being a kid and my dad teaching me how to change a tire, how to change oil and things like that. And I was like, you know what, I don't know if the world we live in today. And the reason I say that, I was bragging about it to my kid about a year and a half ago, that, yeah, I changed my oil when I was a kid, which I did. You don't know how to do it, and blah, 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 blah. And then I got underneath the truck, and it took me about an hour and a half to change it when he was helping me. So, and I was like, I'll take 10 minutes, you know. But still having
There's
that
a Bible verse in there somewhere, I think.
right.
Yeah.
So it was just an opportunity, I felt like, for all of us coaches to take a minute and take a step back and really invest in the kids, that what really matters is their future, not just playing football. So, and I think those 10-minute conversations that we started with during off-season, and how we started every day in off-season, was imperative to what I believe that the kids went through in fall camp, and the kids went through at the beginning of the year, and things like that. I really felt like, well, those lessons that we incorporated and were taught helped those kids get through that. And then during the season, what we do is Stephen Mackey, 2 words. We use that, and then I got to talk. You know, I mean, it's just part of who I am and whatnot. So I always feel like there's something, a topic that I need to speak about every week. So we usually go in on Wednesdays in the afternoon, and we start with awards. So I give out all the award stickers for the helmets and whatnot, and then we do character education. So during that character education time, I usually give myself 10 minutes. I usually speak for 20 before I put on Stephen Mackey as well. But it's just something that's on my heart. Like, I feel like I need to talk about. There's nothing like, like integrity. I mean, we're not going to, I want to talk about something that the kids, it's going to relate. And the kids aren't going to be like, oh, here we go again, or whatever the case may be. It's going to be something that the kids want to hear about and want to talk about and things like that. So I do that. And then Stephen Mackey's 2-word program, we play that. And it's normally around a 5 to 7 minute character education video. And then, we just I try to take what he's saying in that video and use it throughout the week. So I have this weekly organizational sheet, and it's right when the kids walk in the locker room, my weekly organization sheet's there, and then it'll be a little snippet of what he has to say and whatnot. And but like I said, I mean, that's the thing that I feel like we as coaches sometimes, because I have never done it before. I've never been a part of a program that has really done it. One time at a school, we tried to do it, and it just didn't catch on. It was turned kind of into a classroom, and our kids did not respond very well. So I think it's got to be quick, I think it's got to be fun, and I think it's got to be relatable.
Have you told your colleagues, your coaches at other schools about it?
I have. I mean, there's no secrets with me, know. So, and the coaching staff can tell you that. If they tell me a secret, I'm going to tell somebody. But
on camera, even.
Yes.
yes.
But I mean, a lot of people have asked, what's the best thing that you've done? And to me, that's the best thing that we've done. Like, it's not a scheme or a win or whatever the case may be. It's that piece of it. Because like I said, at the end of the day, it's our jobs to, if you're really in this profession for the right reasons, it is our job to help parents raise kids. And it's not just about winning games. I feel like maybe winning is a byproduct of that. And sometimes that's not the case. But I do believe at the end of the day, if you're doing that, you are winning. So that's how I feel about it.
Is this limited to just football, or other sports within Melissa doing the same?
So Coach Stinton bought all sports, the Stephen Mackey 2 words. And football was the only ones last year that did like the life lessons and whatnot. And I'm not really incorporated with what other sports are doing, but I know that all sports now have the character education curriculum. And that was from, honestly, Coach Avila, or Coach A, I'm going to just say it that way.
Monty Avila?
There you go. Is the one that brought it to my attention and other coaches' attention. And when I first saw it, I thought, oh man, here we go again. It's just, this guy's trying to get some money and whatnot. And it
not Coach A.
Not Coach A.
Yeah, right.
But it's been invaluable. So I just think for me too.
My guess, knowing him, that Keith Murphy was totally on board with this.
I'm going to say yeah. I don't really know. That's a question for Coach Stinton. Mr. Murphy in my interactions kind of like hey and hey. So
okay. Well, I know him pretty well, and I'm going to guess very confidently that he's going to support this.
Yeah.
So let's talk about the win over La Vega just for a moment. We'll do that more in the next segment. But Sam Finnegan getting to be a regular around here as the offensive player of the game. 3 touchdown passes, 1 touchdown running. In fact, we're going to show some of Sam's highlights in just a moment. Justin Mays, defensive player of the game, also a repeat winner. Talk about those guys.
First off with Sammy, I'll say this about Sam all the time. He's the most accurate kid that we've ever had, or I've ever had. The one thing about Sam that makes him invaluable is there's 2 things. A, he's an unbelievable leader, but B, to play that position, you got to have a short memory, and he has a short memory. And you got to really, if you watch Sam play and you look at him, you're like, oh, there's a thin kid that has got a good strong arm, but he can't. He's probably maybe timid in the pocket or whatever. But boy, he will climb the pocket like the best of them and deliver the football. So we're very lucky that he is the quarterback of our football team. And then Justin, the crazy thing about Justin is Justin plays the defensive line, but he's probably one of the sweetest people you'll ever meet. But he'll get down in there and get nasty and make a unbelievable tackle and whatnot, and then he'll come off the field and just hey, that guy was trying to block me, and he was trying real hard, And then he's just, but he is. It's a blessing to be around those 2. Just because of the fact, and Justin's been a part of the program for a while now, but watching him blossom and coming into his own has been, it's heartwarming. So, but both those kids are Melissa Cardinal poster childs of what we're looking for and what we ask them to do.
You're going to get to hear from Sam Finnegan and Justin Mays in just a moment. As I said, I'll show you a couple of the Sam Finnegan highlights from this past Friday. Do invite you and your family to join me and my family at First Melissa Sunday mornings in person, 9 a.m. or 10:15 a.m. Our online worship service every Sunday, 11:30 a.m. Find out all that information at firstmelissa.com. We're going to talk more with Coach Matt Nally after you get to see and hear from Sam Finnegan and Justin Mays. You are watching the Cardinal Scoreboard Show from the Dugout Sports Grill. Hi, welcome back to the Cardinal Scoreboard Show. This is Trey Graham joining you from the Dugout Sports Grill. You have already heard our offensive and defensive players of the game for the big playoff victory over Waco La Vega. Joining me right now, our offensive player of the game, senior quarterback Sam Finnegan. Welcome back.
Thank you.
You've been here a few times.
Yes, sir, I have.
And the restaurant keeps growing and improving every time.
It really does, yes, sir.
Pretty cool place.
It is. It's very nice.
So talk about, first of all, big victory over Waco La Vega.
Yes, sir.
And if you were paying attention to last week's program, which I'm sure you watched, you know that Melissa had never defeated La Vega before.
Yes, sir.
0-2, both playoff losses.
Mm-hmm.
So was there a revenge factor here?
There absolutely was. And, one of the losses, Melissa, I believe, was up by 21 going into halftime. And so it was just that mindset of don't get complacent and just keep fighting and keep going. So it was really nice to pull out the win.
What was the game plan going in?
Well, we knew that we had better athletes, and we knew that we were a more complete football team, so it was just do what we do best and run our offense.
They are pretty much a running team.
Yes, sir.
In fact, I think they probably threw it more than they wanted to, more than they should have.
Yeah. Well.
So what's the difference? You're a very fast-paced team, no
Yes,
huddle,
sir.
quick to the snap, as opposed to getting in the huddle, running all the clock down. It feels very different environment, very different atmosphere.
Absolutely. I mean, when the offense is moving fast, we're going, the crowd really gets behind you, and, it's really exciting to watch, whereas when you take your time, get in the huddle, like you said, it's a lot more slow paced. It's just slower.
301 yards, passing, 3 touchdowns through the air, 1 touchdown on the ground. And talk about your receivers that try to make you look good.
Oh, they're amazing. I mean, I don't have to do that much, honestly. I just put the ball up for them and they go get it, and like you said, make me look really good. So.
You suffered an injury earlier in the year. You sat out a game.
Yes, sir.
How is your health and how's the team's health?
I'm absolutely fine. Taking that game off was mostly just to make sure I was 100% for playoffs. And I mean, Walker Overman, he stepped in big time, and he's a great player. So, and overall team health, we're getting back to 100% where we want to be. We've obviously suffered some really big injuries with Kennedy Brantley, Luke Fowler, Dalton the other week, and we're starting to get back to full health. So.
And what is the feel of the team right now? It's Final 8, the
Yes,
Elite
sir.
8 round.
Yes, sir.
Nobody wants it to be over yet.
No, sir.
Where's the team mentally? Where's the focus right now?
The focus is this Friday. I mean, we're prepared for this game. We really feel that we have a shot to win state, and we believe we can beat Stephenville. So I feel as though we're focused. We're ready.
How's the recruiting process coming?
It's a little slow, but I have faith. I know everything happens for a reason. Just know the Lord has a plan for me. So.
What are you doing in that regard? To use the term, do you sell yourself? Do you reach out to coaches, reach out to teams?
A little bit, yeah. You got to sell yourself. You got to send your film out, make yourself look good. So do all that.
Has it been fun?
It has been a lot of fun. Yeah.
What have you learned in the process?
I've learned that you got to really like you said, sell yourself really, really hard. You can't be shy. You just got to go out and let people know you're the guy. So.
And what's it like being the offensive leader?
It's an honor being able to lead all these guys, and I mean it's a great group of people and kids, so it's really an honor.
And I'm going to let you brag on Coach Russell, the offensive coordinator.
Oh, Coach Russell, his play calls are amazing. He knows exactly what to call and when, and he makes me look really good. So,
congratulations.
Thank you, sir.
Sam Finnegan, senior quarterback, our offensive player of the game for the big victory over Waco La Vega. We'll take a break and we'll talk to Justin Mays right after this. Welcome back to the Cardinal Scoreboard Show. This is the Dugout Sports Grill. Trey Graham here with our defensive player of the game, defensive lineman Justin Mays. You've been here before. Welcome back.
Yes, sir.
Congratulations on being the defensive player of the game.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
Talk about the plan. I visited with Sam a moment ago. What was the game plan? What was the feel going into the Waco La Vega playoff game?
Not to be intimidated by when they go into their heavy set, because they love to run the ball. That's the thing that they're known for. They don't like to really pass as much, so we had to bring a lot of pressure, and we had to make sure they wasn't going to go on the outsides of us, because as soon as they break free, they're gone.
So what was the process during the week? What kind of drills or how did you prepare exactly for that?
So we have offense players like our JV.
Scout team.
Scout team.
Right.
Yes, sir. So when we have them like scout for us, we tell them to run as fast as they can to get on the other side of us to block us off so we won't be able to go over. And they do a really good job of teaching us how to do it. Really, they went harder than the game was.
Really?
But they actually helped us improve and get better.
And talk about your teammates, the rest of the folks on the D. Break Bill was here last week on the show. Talk about your fellow defenders.
Break Bill, he loves to steal all the tackles and sacks. He always gets an open lane, which is good because that means we're doing our job.
Right.
Nigel, he has the most sacks, and I'm pretty sure leading with tackles too for the D-line. Dylan, he's up there. He's like third because it goes Nigel, me, Nigel, me, and then Dylan with sacks.
So is there a little competition there?
Yes, sir, because Nigel wants to have more than everyone, and Dylan just wants to have at least 5.
Okay.
And I'm just wanting to beat Nigel.
Okay. And what does that translate to the weight room and the off-season workouts too?
Yes, sir, because Nigel wants to be the best at everything. He literally was just telling me, like, last week that he wants to bench more than me, and I was like, okay, buddy, you're not going to get there, but okay.
Is he not there?
He's not there yet. He
Okay.
wants to be, but he's not there.
Okay. So he's looking to you to be the role model.
I'm pretty sure. Yes, sir.
Okay. Now, we were talking before the camera started. You say your favorite NFL team is not the Dallas Cowboys.
See, they're the second, but it's the Saints because I came from New Orleans. Was my first team I ever watched? No, I'm lying. It was LSU was the first team I ever watched.
Okay. Drew Brees fan?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Sir.
And you mentioned your favorite player is who?
Oh, Cameron Jordan.
Why?
I don't know. He just makes it look really easy when he gets through the line. He makes it look like he's going against first graders.
In the NFL?
Yes, sir.
Okay. And LSU, who's going to be the coach?
I don't even know.
Okay.
Can't even say that one.
Okay. Have you been talking to colleges, or are you trying to play the next level?
I am trying to put it next level, but sometimes I don't have time to actually sell myself or get out there, which I'm about to start doing like today. But
Has Coach Nally talked to you about it?
Yes, sir.
What has he said? What kind of advice?
Make sure I get all my highlights together. Make sure I actually know which coach I'm sending it to, which one is gonna actually respond, stuff like that.
And talk about the classroom. What do you like to do? What do you like to study?
Just math.
Really?
Yes, sir.
What do you want to major in?
This one's a hard one. Really any.
Don't know yet.
No, sir.
Okay. Talk about the support of the Melissa Cardinal fans.
They really hype us up. Every time everyone's down and then one person makes a huge play, it's always them and then it's us. And it really pumps everyone up. When Tavner, came down, he was dancing in front of them, it was pumping us up even more.
So you guys can hear the fans?
Oh, yes, sir. We can.
Good. And do you go back and watch the games? Do you watch the YouTube videos?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Fast forward to your plays, you watch the whole thing?
A little bit of both.
I understand. All right. And one more time, talk about Coach Nally. What has he taught you?
Coach Nally. He really taught me a lot since I came to high school. To my position mainly, he didn't really teach me more about that, but he taught me more about defense and how to recognize what the offense is doing, if they're running heavy, if they're gonna go wide, stuff like that, and also not to just do a bowl because that's the only
Change it up.
Yes, sir. Only thing I used to like to do.
Congratulations on being the defensive player of the game. For the big win over Waco La Vega, defensive lineman Justin Mays will come back and talk more with Coach Matt Nally right after this. Hi, welcome back to the Melissa Cardinals Network. You're watching the Cardinal Scoreboard Show from the Dugout Sports Grill. You need to visit dugoutsportsgrill.com. And I'm visiting, as usual, with Melissa Cardinals head football coach Matt Nally. And you've seen this restaurant just blossom over the now 14 weeks we've been doing this show. Pretty cool place.
Right. Yeah. Like I said, every time we used to come, because I remember when we first got here, we would do it kind of over there, and over here was kind of a storage area and whatnot, and then it's just kind of transformed slowly into this unbelievable place. So once again, I kind of feel like I'm in the Max, Saved by the Bell. It's just a really cool place. I just want to hang out here all the time.
Or at least on Monday nights.
Yeah, at least on Monday nights, yeah.
You have heard about Justin Mays being the defensive player of the game, Sam Finnegan the offensive player of the game. It was a big victory over Waco La Vega. Final score was 41-14. The first time Melissa had ever defeated the La Vega Pirates. La Vega knocked Melissa out of the playoffs in 2018 and 2019. So I asked Sam Finnegan, I ask you, Was there a revenge factor here?
I don't know for the kids if they had that. I know for my defensive staff there was. I don't know if you remember the game, but we were up at halftime in that game, and they came back and beat us. So I know my defensive coordinator had a little bit more juice in practice than he normally has, just because of the fact of, he really wanted to beat them, and they're extremely talented. So we knew we had to bring in sack lunch on Friday night to have an opportunity to win the game. And for me, no, I really respect Coach Hyde. And
y'all had a pretty long chat there before the game.
Yeah, and it's one of those things. Again, you're not talking about football; you're talking about all kinds of stuff. So, but I really have a lot of respect for him and his program. So, for me, no. For my defensive staff, yes.
11th victory in a row. Cardinals are now 11-2. As we mentioned on last week's program, the school record for consecutive wins is 12. It's been done twice before. Hopefully it'll be done this week.
Right.
11 games in a row, and it's what you call the regional final round, if you speak official lingo, the Elite Eight, if you're a March Madness fan. And we'll talk about the Stephenville Yellow Jackets in a moment, but there's no cupcakes left when you get to this round.
No. I mean, if it's December football, every team is great. Not good. Every team is great. And, going back to La Vega, I mean, La Vega's a young football team, but they're extremely talented, and, they're going to be extremely physical. That's the pillar that they really lay their head on. And then, you go into the Stephenville game, I mean, that whole district is built on physicality. And Stephenville is just a bunch of big old boys that know how to play the game. So we're going to have a great week of prep, and we're going to have to match their physicality on Friday night.
Stephenville Yellow Jackets, the Melissa Cardinals have played them once in history. Last season, Melissa got the win in a game that you shouldn't have played.
Correct.
But back in last season, when all the COVID cancellations happened, you ended up with a non-district game against them. Again, only time the two schools have ever met. How did that matchup develop last year?
So, COVID happened, and so the 5As started a month later. So at that time, I can't really remember who I had, but I had a team. Oh, I know. I had a team. I had Frisco Memorial, and then I had Austin Achieve. And Austin Achieve, because of the county they were in, they had to push back. So we were looking for a game, and we were playing. I cannot remember who we got, but there's a guy out there named Carl Padilla, and you can contact him, and he can help you find games and stuff like that. So he contacted me and said, hey, Stephenville's looking for a game. And I thought, man, that's cool. That's such a storied program, and that's just a really neat, team to play. So he actually hooked me and Coach Doty up to play that game. And Coach Doty was nice enough to come to Melissa to play that game. So,
and then you beat him.
Yeah. But it was a great game. I mean, I don't know if you remember. I mean, it was back and forth. We took like a 14-point lead, and then they came back and went up by 14. It was just an awesome game to be a part of. And I think we scored with 15 seconds left to take the lead or something like that.
65-58, if my memory is correct, was the final score. Basketball score.
Oh, man.
Not the ones that the defensive coordinators like to watch.
No, sir.
And now you're playing them for the first time ever in the playoffs. Fourth round, they had a big victory over the Argyle Eagles last Friday. So talk about, I'm sure you've watched that film already.
Right.
You guys defeated Argyle, first time ever. They defeated Argyle this past Friday. What did you see in their film?
Well, when you're this far into the playoffs, it's just like an our Midlothian Heritage game. You got to stay healthy, and you got to have a little bit of luck. So in that Midlothian Heritage game, we're down 13. Things start going our way. Momentum starts going our way, and then we take the lead and then end up winning the game. In that Stephenville game, Argyle's up 14-0, and not just that, they drive the length of the field and fumble going into the end zone, and it could have been 21-0. But kudos to Stephenville and their coaching staff and whatnot of keeping those kids calm and in that belief system, and they caused a couple more turnovers and capitalized on mistakes that Argyle normally doesn't make, and they played extremely well defensively, and they've got some really good playmakers, and they're huge up front on the offensive line, and they just kind of wore them down. And yeah, I mean they won the game. In my personal opinion, people want to say out there, the experts want to say that, you know, Argyle gave them the game or whatever the case may be. That's not the truth. Stephenville took the game and won it.
21-17 was the score. Stephenville defeated Argyle. So the Argyle Eagles, the defending state champs, their season comes to an end. I know you and Coach Todd Rogers of Argyle are close friends. Did you speak to Coach Rogers since their game?
I did. And, you know, I mean, he was, you know, I mean, just like any competitor, you know, you still want to be in the game and the fight. So he didn't give me a lot of advice. He just said I matched up well.
That's it.
That's it. So,
thanks for the pointers.
right. So, and that's fine. Like, I totally get it. You know, I mean, everybody wants to be in and whatnot. So, and I don't know. It is what it is.
The UIL has 12 playoff divisions. There's 1A through 6A, and then there's Division 1, Division 2. So there's 12 state champions in a football season.
Mm-hmm.
6 defending state
Right.
champions lost last Friday.
Right.
Argyle Eagles being one,
Right.
Carthage being
Right.
another.
Right.
6 defending state champions lose on one day last
Right.
week.
Right. Vegas they made a lot of money. You know, for me personally, I mean, it's just the craziest thing about high school sports or just sports in general. You never know where the ball's going to bounce that day. And not just that, I mean, I've said it on this before, you know, winning a football game with 16 and 17-year-olds is hard. It's extremely hard in the playoffs. So the 6 teams that beat those teams, it's kudos to those coaches and those kids. And then, you know, your heart breaks for those kids that, you know, had won it and then lost last Friday night. But, you know, I mean, at the end of the day, the good Lord above has ordained ways that it's going to be, and that's the way it was ordained. So,
You're watching the Cardinal Scoreboard show. This is Trey Graham and Matt Nally at the Dugout Sports Grill. The Elite 8, the regional final round, we said it a few minutes ago, everybody's good. Everybody's great at this
Right.
point in time. But also, everybody's put their heart into this.
no doubt.
This is game number 14.
Right.
I always tell Coach Deal, if you're having practice on Thanksgiving Day, you've had a great season.
Right.
If you're playing high school football in December,
Right.
that's a serious season.
Right.
But it could all come to an end.
Right.
How do you keep teenagers mentally balanced in that type of environment?
So, for me personally, it's just like we treat it any other week like it's a regular week. You know, I mean, our kids are lifting weights right now. They lifted weights before the Argyle game. I mean, we're going to do the exact same thing. Once again, I go back to character ed and talking about what we talk about. I try to send the kids a blurb out on Sports U on Sunday. I send out the schedule, but I also send
It's a
out
communication app, if you don't know.
and so I kind of try to, you know, use that resource as kind of like a starter of the week and whatnot, and kind of what the focus needs to be and things like that, and then try to reiterate that on a Wednesday. But honestly, I think the best thing that everyone needs, kids need, coaches need, is just routine and just stay on the routine. And that's something that, you know, I felt like in the past, especially during the Thanksgiving holiday, I kind of got away from. And this year I did not. I was just like, this is what we're going to do, and we're going to keep it the same. And I think it really helped our kids, and especially helped me, just my sanity. So, but I think just routine.
Our kickoff is 7:30 p.m. this Friday at Pennington Field over there in HEB. And, of course, the 7 o'clock pregame show here on the Melissa Cardinals Network. Our radio broadcast with myself and Coach Kenny Deal is confirmed. As we always say, we're pending UIL confirmation on the live stream, so we hope to be able to video live stream it for you. If not, of course, I hope you'll be by the channel listening. 7:30 kickoff, Pennington Field this Friday. And before we close up, Coach, talk about the support of the Cardinal fans.
Well, you know, I thought that we had unbelievable fans, and then last Friday night I realized that we had the greatest fans in North Texas. You know, it's the day after Thanksgiving, and it's the third round of the playoffs, and I get that, but it's the day after Thanksgiving. And I turned around, I can't remember what time it was in the game, and I was shocked that there was so many people there for a high school football game. So they're, in my opinion, like I said, the greatest fans in the state.
There's not only a lot of people at the game, there's a lot of people listening and watching the games. And we've talked about it. Melissa Cardinals literally have a nationwide fan base, worldwide fan base.
Right.
And I know, again, you're busy during the game, so you don't hear me blabbing about these things. But you hear about it later because I tell you. But it's cool. You've got people in the state of Washington, the state of California. You got people in Florida. You got people in other countries, all tuning in to cheer on your team.
Right. And that's something, once again, first off, you kind of have to give kudos to the Melissa Cardinal Network, first and foremost, for doing it, because there's a lot of schools that don't do that and give people opportunities. And then second off, you have to, once again, I mean, I don't know what to say to it. It's just unbelievable. I've never been a part of a support system like this in high school sports before. I mean, we're talking to our physical therapist up there at Texas Health during practice, and he was the same way. Just kind of like, I cannot believe that there is so much support, and it's not just football; it's everything. It's everything. It just took me back the other night. I just remember being a kid and playing and looking up in the stands, and you could like count. You know what I mean? And then now I'm 40 and I'm looking up, and it's a high school football game. It's the same environment, same everything, and I couldn't tell you how many people were at the game. I don't know. It was surreal.
You've been watching the Cardinal Scoreboard Show. This is Trey Graham along with head coach Matt Nally at the Dugout Sports Grill. Again, kickoff this Friday, 7:30 p.m. at Pennington Field. Be sure to be a part of the Melissa Cardinals Network. If you're at the game or if you're not at the game, be sure to tune in. 7 o'clock pregame show, 7:30 kickoff. Thanks to Mike Dembski and the folks here at the Dugout for letting us broadcast every week. Hope you will join us on Friday. For Coach Matt Nally, this is Trey Graham saying thanks for watching the Melissa Cardinals Network.